Florida won all the games. I mean, that had to be.
Hey, they won when they needed to.
Did you tear up at all when they won the national title?
No, man, it was just kind of like still disbelief. Like, dang, did that really happen? Are we sure? Like, wait, we're the national champs? Hold on. No, that's not it, is it? That was it.
Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point.
Okay, and welcome into another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at the Dooley Dome. Appreciate all of you for watching and listening. Today, Patric Young is going to join us. We're going to talk to him about Florida's basketball championship, of course, and also he's got his tournament. His golf tournament is coming up October 6th at Southampton, which is a place where my brother plays a lot of golf. And I've played there many times too. Good, really nice course, great shape. And then Coach Spur will be in on Monday. And then next Thursday, Peter Burns is going to join us. It's LSU week. Peter, and Doring are going to have that bet. So we'll see how that goes, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun to have Peter on. I am heading to Palatka after we're done here, or eventually today, and to speak to the quarterback club there. I always have a great time speaking to them. I've got the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club next week, and then I think I've got after 2 weeks after that, I've got Ocala, and then I've got DeLand is the only other one. But I'm trying to limit those because it's just it gets hard, I'm supposed to be retired, right? But I will continue to do the podcast as long as they'll have me. Because I love doing it, and everybody keeps giving us really real high compliments, and it's really important to me to hear that because I have such a huge, massive ego, as everybody knows. All right, let's move along to our Royal Blue starting five, brought to you by Royal Blue Yacht Sales. Randy over there, I'll see him tonight. There will be there'll probably be a tequila shot that goes down. It's kind of a tradition. Kind of loosen me up before I get up there and start talking, but it'll be fun. Look forward to seeing him over there as well, and we appreciate him as a sponsor. In fact, it was at last year's event where I started talking to him and we were talking about the podcast, and he wanted to get on board, and so he's been on board ever since, and hopefully will stay for a long time. All right, let's get to number one, our Royal Blue starting five, and that is Florida USF is this week. The line opened at 18.5, which I couldn't believe that it was that high. I was like, do you guys have cable? But did you not see the what USF did to Boise State? Now, I know Boise State really looked bad. They didn't look like a team that was prepared. Maybe they had jet lag. Maybe they ate too many potatoes. I don't know. But they did not look good. They were slow. But USF looked really good. Certainly a special teams touchdown was a difference in the game. And we all know that. We know about Byron Brown and how good he is, a big load senior. This is a guy who, he and Jaden Daniels, I think this is stats correct, are the only guys this century to throw for 3,000 yards and run for over 700 yards in a single season. That's pretty good. Pretty good to be in his company. Look, it's still all about Florida and what Florida is going to be able to do. And if they're ready to play at a high level. Believe me, USF got Florida's attention by not only beating Boise State, by beating them by a lot. Because Boise State was a ranked team. And the name Boise State, if you are any kind of a fan, if you play, you're aware of Boise State. They were in the playoffs last year. Boise State, obviously the Fiesta Bowl. But I should have been at that game, but I didn't get in time. Anyway, so that's just part of it. What Florida does as far as an 18.5 point spread. Now it did go down to 17. Money came in on USF, and people are going, "We have cable. We're going to watch this." But what happened is it's gone back up to 18. So it really doesn't matter. I got a little bit nervous when I see the ESPN analytics, which, by the way, when they came out after Saturday's games, had Texas still number one, despite a loss. so I don't pay a whole lot of attention to them. But they gave Florida a 99% chance of winning. I'm like, I don't feel that way at all. And I know Florida's got better players than USF has. USF's got a pretty good offensive line, and Brown's a really good player. They got a couple good receivers. They've gotten better on defense, but I think Florida's physically is going to be able to handle them, and especially on the Florida's defensive line. Now, we don't know about Caleb Banks yet. I don't. My gut is they're going to hold him out, that he could use another week's rest and be able to go and practice. Same with Dallas Wilson. He was still in a boot Thursday or Wednesday night, which tells me probably not, without being able to get practices in. He's got a foot problem. Banks is an ankle. Dallas Wilson has a foot problem, and they thought he had a hairline fracture, but it turned out it was not. So he's been in a boot a lot. I just don't see them playing him. It's a shame. I want to see him out there. It looks like Aiden Mizell probably will play, who didn't play in the opening game. So, but that's a position where they have plenty of depth, and we'll see what they're able to do. Certainly, we saw what Vernell Brown III was able to do last week. So here we go. The season starts this week for Florida, in my mind. I mean, the first game, I literally was so intent on watching LSU and Clemson that I was writing things down, and I'd look up, but it was certainly not the greatest opener, but it was kind of perfect in a way. So now you get to game 2. You got a better team, a team that should be ranked, in my opinion. They are not ranked, although 8 of the next 11 Florida opponents are ranked in the top 25. Now, they won't be at the end of the year, but South Florida should have been. If you're going to vote for Boise State and get them in at 25th, and I don't know, maybe one guy had them really high, and that's why I didn't really study it. Then they beat that 25th ranked team and beat them badly. You should be the 25th ranked team. Now, Jeff made a good point on the radio the other day. Who do you take out? I don't know who you would take out. Well, it wouldn't be Utah. I mean, I don't know that USF's that good, but I think Boise may be that bad. But I think USF's a lot better. What they have is a veteran team, but it's not veterans from USF. It's veterans from other schools. They brought in a lot of older players and teaming them with a redshirt senior quarterback who has been very good for them so far. Well, they only played one game, but it was a good win. Don't forget, they played this game. Then they played they played Boise State, then Florida, then Miami. That's their 3 opening games. So really interesting season for Alex Golish and the team. Alex Golish, who's born in Moscow, came over here very early and did kind of rose up the ranks. I can't find evidence that he ever played football, but he became a football coach and did a good job. Started out in high school, and he was at Tennessee when Hendon Hooker was lighting it up. So they're going to run up tempo. You got to be ready for that. We'll just see what happens. Hopefully, Florida is able to handle this and handle a team like this. I mean, you can't lose this game. That's the bottom line. And again, I am taking the win by one mentality into this. I don't care. You win the game. That's all that matters. And you go play LSU, and believe me, the LSU, Miami, Texas A&M run is going to be where your season is defined. It ain't going to be with USF unless you let it. Just beat USF by 1, and I'll be okay with it. I know a lot of you won't, and that'll be great. We'll get a bunch of phone calls. All right, let's get to number 2 on our Royal Blue starting 5, and that is that if you are like I usually am on a Saturday, and I was last Saturday, you hunker down and you watch football all day. It's so many good games, and we had a lot of good games. I will say this. As good as last week was, there was a lot of stuff at noon, and then you had one game at 3:30 you wanted to watch, and then you had one game at 7:30 that you wanted to watch, and that was pretty much, well, we had the Florida game too, but the point was it wasn't like there was a bunch of stacked games. This week is absolutely woeful, and this is where I get into that mode because I'm a consumer of why can't the leagues make better schedules and force their teams to play better schedules. And maybe we'll get to that point. We end up with a 60-team Super League, and everybody's playing everybody, and it leaves out the other guys. And I get it. If you're Long Island or even if you're South Florida, you want to make a little bit of cash, but this week's schedule is not good. It is the first SEC game, but it's Ole Miss, Kentucky, and I know Kentucky beat them last year. And I'm not overly excited about that. I think there's one ranked game, Michigan and Oklahoma. That's the only ranked unranked crime that we have. So it's not worth staying home for. Let's put it that way. I've already told my wife, hey, let's go. I'm going to go to the game. I want to go to the press box and see everybody, watch the game, and write my grading the Gators. So it looks like I'm going to go, and that's exciting. I'm going to go do a little tailgating, go around, see some people, may take a couple of bike rides. They put you on that bike. I'll do that. Try to have fun Saturday. Anyway, it's not worth staying home for. There is not much on. This is a week to get away and enjoy. Maybe like if you're not even going to go to the Florida game and you really don't want to watch it for some reason, go to Hitchitucky or something. I mean, this is a weekend you can miss. Now, I don't think you should miss the Florida USF game. I'm hoping it's not close in the fourth quarter, but it wouldn't stun me. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if any of it made any sense. All right. Let's get to number 3 on our Royal Blue starting 5, which is the news that came out that Scott Strickland has signed his deal, an extension. This was not news to him, but it was news to a lot of us exactly what happened. I will say this. I had a little conversation with him this morning, congratulated him. He is going to be the AD at least until 2030 and could stay longer if he wants to. I mean, it's going to depend on where they are in terms of things. One thing, I know that a lot of people go, oh, what about those 2 hires he made? Yeah, those were bad hires. But it wasn't. There's a lot out there that is overblown and has been kind of exaggerated. It's a lot of gossip out there and stuff. But the point is, there were bad hires, and he's acknowledged that, and he got rid of them. He cleaned it up. Todd Golden, pretty good hire. Billy Napier, we're going to see. The verdict's out on him, but I think he thinks that's going to work out, and I hope it does. I mean, with the brutal schedule they have and everything, we just talked about it. But Scott was making the point to me that when he turns 60, that'll be 2030, and so they have given him this they're very generous about doing this, and they've done this with other people at Florida, certainly with Spurrier, with Jeremy Foley. Where he's going to be an assistant to the AD if they're ready to move along, and if he's ready to move along. But it doesn't mean he will move along. So even though it's through 2030, doesn't mean it is through 2030. But anyway, I know there's people that don't like a lot of the things he's doing, don't like the stadium improvements that they're talking about. But a lot of people do. And a lot of people, if they're sitting in a brand new, and it's unbelievable the vision that he has, stadium, much like Condon in terms of, it's like a AAA stadium there. This is going to look like an NFL stadium once they're finally done with it all. And that's going to be his legacy. So, look, you want him in charge of the fundraising, okay? A, he's really good at it. B, you don't want to switch gears at some point in the middle of all this either. So the board and the president signed off on this, Kent Fox. And you didn't want the new president the guy who's coming in, his name's escaped me, but you didn't want him have to come in and have to negotiate in 2 years, because 2 years from now, the deal with Scott would have been up. So this was a good move. It's very smart on everybody's part. And those of you who don't like Scott Strickland probably don't think it was smart. I happen to like him. I think he's doing a great job. And you look at how good Florida is in so many sports, still in everything school, still getting people to have great grades. The GPAs are crazy. They're doing a great job. I think they're doing fine. They solved the problems that they had, but the number one thing they have, and you know this as well as I do, is football's got to win more games. And that is the bottom line. We loved the basketball championship. Loved it. It was tremendous. It was one of the highlights of my life as a fan, okay? But football needs to win more games. They can't go 6-6 this year. If you do, I'm not saying you fire the coach, but I'm just saying that's still what he's going to be remembered for because of that hire. And the Dan Mullen hire, which seemed like a great hire, and it was. For 3 years, it was a great hire. And it wasn't so good. Anyway, I'm happy for Scott, and it's great. I think Florida's going the right direction with him. And I've told this story before, but I called the only booster I knew, or the big booster I knew, and told him this would be the guy you should go get. And they did. But I don't think it had anything to do with it. I'm just saying. All right, let's go to number 4 in our Royal Blue starting 5, which is the aftermath of Alabama's loss to FSU. Was exactly what I hoped for. It has been crazy. People are losing their minds. DeBoer has had to reach out to boosters. And now they've lost another player, Jeremiah Beeman. Another defensive lineman's out. Now they're playing Louisiana Monroe, but he's out, and he's out for the year. He was a starter. So things just don't seem to be going right there. And there is a lot of this kind of feeling of these guys are dogging it. I think it was Dan Orlovsky counted up the plays that he saw Alabama players loafing last week, and I think it was 11 plays, which is too much. I mean, 1 is too many, but 11 plays. Look, you could watch that game and see one team really wanted to play. And I don't believe in the we wanted it more theory, but that was a game where I did see we wanted it more. And I did, to be honest with you, I did in USF, the USF Boise State game, same deal. So it'll be interesting. But I will say that the Alabama collateral damage of being the coach there is not good for anybody. It's not going to help you with anything. The players are there, and you got to figure it out, and you better figure it out pretty quick. Alabama is not above buying you out, Mr. DeBoer. I feel bad for him. Maybe he didn't realize how big a deal it was. My theory, and I have no reasoning behind it, but I'm just going to say what I think. And I think that Nick Saban was one of the hardest coaches anybody's ever played for, right? Just brutal. Hard to coach. I mean, hard to play for. But you got results. He got results. And he made sure you were buttoned up, man. You were buttoned up, and you've heard all the rat poison and the all the other things he's alluded to, I think he's brilliant, and I think he's a great coach. But they were buttoned up, and they didn't loaf. And if you loaf, scholarships were pulled and everything. Anyway, I think DeBoer kind of came in and said, I got to coach my way, but my way is kind of be nice and be friendly with guys and get them to be a player's coach. Almost in the same, I don't want to say it's the same as Spurrier Zook, but it's similar. Zook wanted to be their best friend, and that's not the way to do it. You're better off continuing it the way it was than changing it, and I think that's where he's gotten into trouble. Anyway, we'll see what happens. All right, number 5 on our Royal Blue starting 5. The NFL starts tonight, Thursday night. If you're listening to this on Friday, it started last night. Please tell me that Philadelphia won. I'm not a Dallas fan. It's going to be interesting, though. I was thinking to myself, it would be pretty cool just to go to a sports bar and watch football all day. But the trouble you have then how many beers are you going to drink? So like I would try to time it up, go for the fourth quarter of the early games, and then come home at the end of the first quarter of the late game. So you're only there a couple hours. I still don't think that passes the mustard, but I may try that. But I am fired. I want to see Aaron Rodgers' first game. I want to see how bad the Giants are. I want to see if I've survived my survivor pool. I took Denver. I want to see what the Jaguars do. I want to see what the Bucks do. So it'll be. I mean, it is. Talking season ends tonight. Now for the NFL. The college football season obviously is underway and we're ready to go. Talking season's long over there, but in terms of the NFL, they are still talking about, all these different things that they've been talking about for months. That's why the NFL is still king. They dominate the networks. But bottom line is, I'm just happy they're going to get play and I can watch games on Sunday, even on Thursday and Monday and Friday this year. All right, that is our Royal Blue starting five. We'll take a break. When we come back, the great Patric Young is going to join us. We'll talk to him about basketball, his life, and what he's dealing with, and also his golf tournament, which is coming up on October 6th. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to sign up for that. This is another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grille. Ballyhoo Grille prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grille on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Coach, it always impressed me how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Hey, let's talk about something that's been a real game changer for many people, including me. BMI TeleMed is one of our sponsors. They're the weight loss specialists and can help you tackle that stubborn belly fat. The kind that usually creeps up once you hit your 40s. Bob Parado and Charlie Gonzalez, two UF-trained pharmacists, work with their medical director to prescribe and deliver the same meds that helped me lose 50 pounds. Yep, 50 pounds. That belly fat, it's not just about looks. It's unhealthy and makes you feel sluggish. Now is the time to do something about it before football season rolls around again. If you're anywhere in Florida, BMI TeleMed, simple online telehealth platform makes it easy. Your weight loss meds get delivered right to your door fast. From my experience, you feel full sooner, eat less, but can keep enjoying the foods that you love, just in smaller portions. Plus, it helps with blood sugar and cravings. Do yourself a favor, head to bmitelemed.com to set up a free private consultation. No obligations, no contracts. These Gators know their stuff. You'll look better, feel better, and be healthier. Visit bmitelemed.com today. Here are just a few reasons why doing business with the Royal Blue puts you at the helm of your boating lifestyle. 1, the longer we have your listing, the lower percentage commissions you will pay. 2, survey reimbursement for qualified buyers. 3, detail reimbursement for qualified sellers. 4, on-the-water delivery orientation availability. Call us today to schedule a consultation to see what Royal Blue can do to solve all of your boating needs. Call Randy at 850-974-1294.
All right, welcome back to another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. It is a great pleasure and honor to bring in one of the greatest Gators of all time, our good friend Patric Young, who's got a golf tournament coming up, and want to talk to him too. Patric, and welcome into the show. You've been on
Appreciate it.
before. You know how it works.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you because a lot of people were asking me, is Patric going to do the SEC Network again this year for basketball? And I didn't know if you'd worked it
Yeah.
out with them yet or not.
Yeah, I should be. I mean, I hope I can be working there for the next 10, 15 years, yeah, if I wasn't, something were to happen, I would let everyone know. So everyone just assume that I will always be on the network. Yeah, unless something happens where they're like, we're not going to renew you, which hopefully I never do anything that would make that happen, because I really enjoy the job. So yeah, should be there next year.
Well, and I think you're really good at it. I mean, I think people love seeing you and hearing what you got to say. I think you and Slay play off each other really good. Don't go after him though. Don't hit him or anything.
I know, right? It's crazy how they let Ron be the Tennessee ambassador
Yeah.
on the network. Like, they let him. I mean, I don't know if they let him or if he just is like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. But either way, yeah, it is kind of sweet when Florida beats Tennessee, though. I always make sure he knows.
Yeah, absolutely. And they did once this year and then lost the other one. But I mean, that was a weird dynamic in that, Condon got hurt in that second game, and it just wasn't,
Yeah.
Hey, at the end of the day, Florida won all the games. I mean, that had to be.
Hey, they won when they needed to.
Did you tear up at all when they won the national title?
No, man, it was just kind of like still disbelief. Like, dang, did that really happen? Are we sure? Like, wait, we're the national champs? Hold on. No, that's not it, is it? That was it.
Boy, I tell you what, that 2014 team, I thought they could have been there. Obviously, you guys got all the way to the Final Four. My theory's always been that team wore out. 30 straight wins, pressure on you. I don't know. You and I have never really talked about it that much.
I don't know if the pressure, but got to us or anything like that. But I mean, yeah, it was a lot of games that we played, and but I don't know. We did a great job with limiting. Like, we didn't practice long. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's just the beauty trying to figure it out. It's the beauty of college basketball. That just a team like UConn that was a 6 seed or something like that can get hot. And it sucks now because teams like that, you're not going to see a lot of Cinderella stories in college basketball anymore due to NIL. But you're getting really good quality games. Just those transfers, those good players on smaller schools, they're going to be out of there. It's going to be impossible for these smaller schools to continue to rebuild. Look at our buddy Donnie Jones with Stetson. He lost 80% of his scoring, and there's they're not going to be. You lose 80% of your scoring, and you're at a small school like that. You don't really have a chance to bring and replace that on a year in and year out basis, unless you're a school like the University of Florida, which I think they've done a fantastic job with their recruiting. Still not happy with Denzel Aberdeen for leaving and going to Kentucky. But Boogie Flan, Xavier Lee. I mean, I'm really looking forward to all the guys that this team has coming into next year. If those bigs, the bigs have taken a step to the next level, truly, I think Florida, but without a doubt, is looking at a Final Four or bust year yet again.
That'd be great. Hey, look, but you know how hard it is to win a tournament game. You guys remember the game against Pitt, right?
Yeah.
Second
they
game.
grinded it out on us.
Yeah, and I remember after the game, Scotty couldn't even get up to the handshake line. He was too tired.
Oh, yeah. We were. I don't know. Scotty's thing. I don't know if my man just ain't drinking enough water or what, man. I mean, my man cramping up, and come on, Scotty.
Where's he playing now?
He's in Turkey, Fenerbahce. They just won a championship, the EuroLeague championship. He was injured all year with ACL. but he still got that bonus check, and really happy for him. Him and his wife had been dealing with infertility for a while, and they're now pregnant. So super excited for the Wilbeckens.
That's great. Great to hear. I need to talk to him sometime. I did want to get to your golf tournament too. I want to talk to you about that, which is coming up October 6th at Southampton. That's where
Well,
Tim Dooley likes to play there. I know that.
things have shifted. Golf tournament's still going to be happening, but conditions at Southampton are not ideal right now. So
I had heard that, to
be,
be honest.
yeah, be on the lookout. This just came to my attention yesterday, so we're gonna need to you know, I don't want to have a bad tournament. I want the court. The guys are coming out to play golf, and I don't want to hear any complaints about the course when we can decide and do that. So it's possible that if we can't keep that same date, we may push our tournament to somewhere else. Looking at Marsh Landing, I mean that would be a great replacement.
Yeah.
They do a fantastic job there. So yeah, that's where we are with the golf tournament right now. It's still going to happen this year. We just have to pivot and go somewhere else.
Well, and you're what you're saying is exactly what I said this year, and the reason we didn't have our tournament is we couldn't have our tournament with the situation they had at Ironwood now, and I wasn't going to have it just to have it.
Yeah,
As much as you want to raise money and you want to do it for your foundation and everything, you don't want people to go, "Well, I'm never playing that again."
right. That's the last thing I want. I don't want slow players, and I don't want a bad course.
We've had some slow players in our group. I had to go tell guys they were on the clock the other day.
Seriously. Yeah.
Let's talk about that though, and what the foundation is doing, which is to try to get people to, have a little hope in their lives.
Yeah, trying to as things come to my attention, and just figuring out ways to best help people get back on their feet, and or that is figuratively and literally
Yeah.
helping people get because some people that we deal with that have spinal cord injuries, that we work with, not deal with, they do have a prognosis of walking again, and they need more rehab. They can't afford it, or they need adaptations to their house in the time being, because it's like there's plenty of people that have chances of recovery, but it could be years down the road. How can we help them now and help them build their confidence and their independence? Because it's tough. Most people that don't have spinal cord injuries, but that like that part before, they probably didn't ask for a lot of help with anything. They probably did mostly, they had their independence, but now you get this injury and you need help with a lot of things. And that can be defeating. We want people to be able to drive again, to be able to go back to work, to get the medical equipment they need to continue their therapy. We want people to be able to shower when they want, because sadly, like, shower chairs are things that insurance companies, some of them don't pay for those. And shower chairs, like, of all the things to not pay for, that's got to be like the cheapest thing. I mean, you can get a good shower chair for $60. And it might not be a medically necessary thing, but for the mental health of a person to be able to go back, and they don't have that, to shower yourself, and you don't need someone else to do it for you in your bed, and a lot of these things, we're just oblivious to. But there's like, if you don't know one that's had a disability or lives with one, but the fact that I've lived it, I am living it. I know there's just so many people out there that are desperate for finding hope and getting their life back, and every little thing makes a difference. So we're continuing to learn and expand other ways we can help people, but it's been quite rewarding in these 3 years so far.
Yeah, you're doing great work, and I mean, I know that the one of the themes is the chair is not the solution, and that I couldn't read there my writing there for a minute, but that's a great saying, and that's the way it is, man. I mean, I know it's been tough for you, brutal for you, what happened in 2022, and but everybody's thinking about you. You know that everybody loves you in the Gator Nation, and we just wish we could go back to that point in time.
I know, right? Don't we all? Yeah. But I tell you this, like, our connection, it is through the University of Florida, right? And it could be seen in those 4 years as just being kind of transactional, but because and this is where I can be selfish and biased. I mean, there's just such amazing people around the University of Florida that just show me that, yeah, basketball was what brought me there, but what really made me fall in love with the university is the people that I've gotten, like you, Pat. So grateful. I mean, the professors I met, the coaches, the teachers, people at the UAA, Jeremy Foley, Scott Strickland, it's even after you leave, there's new relationships that you can form. I mean, even at the time getting spent to know Mike White after he came in after Coach Donovan, that is, and the love that you just receive, that I get to receive from, and knowing people actually care, like it's what has made, it's been a no-brainer. I'm not sure if they're this good at anything like this as South Carolina in terms of relationship. It is the Low Country. Just had to take that shot for no reason.
Zach, for those who don't know, Zach also produces Patric's show, so he likes to take a couple of shots every once in a while.
Zach's over here like, dang, how did I just? What did I do?
Yeah. That stuff. I mean, I would think that when you walk into a room or go into a room and you are able to sit and talk to somebody that is going through the same thing you're going through, that it does mean something. You're a former professional, obviously college great basketball player, played on a team that won 30 straight games, and you're on TV, and I'm sure that people it does mean something coming from you.
Oh, I think so. I don't know, like whether it's for the parents. Sometimes the parents and or the family members, they need inspiration or something like that. I know. Certainly, my parents have needed inspiration, and it's not always going to come from a place that you expect or that you're hoping for, because each person is living in just something that they didn't envision maybe for their lives, and are just trying to navigate it, and it's hard sometimes mentally to not see something as a burden, because like my parents, they're retired. They didn't imagine anything like this, I'm sure, for being filled with their retirement, but it's obviously any parent would do anything for their child. But yeah, I think there's a level of just showing up in spaces that can be like a thermostat to a room, and setting the temperature and just being with positivity, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of people that I've met along the way that are dealing with some type of disability or something. I mean, and honestly, I get inspired a lot of times, especially when it's dealing with younger kids that are, kids are so resilient and just they're just tough, and they're really inspiring. So I hope I get more of those opportunities. I'm coming to the game Saturday, so hopefully I meet some people out there tailgating and whatnot. We'll see.
Yeah, I remember you coming up to our tailgate back in the olden days, and
I remember your spot. You had a good
spot. Yeah, and all the women, of course, want to get their picture taken with you, and I'm like,
you were right at you were in front of the ROTC, right?
ROTC,
yeah.
That was the one year they parked us there, but now we're at Flavette, so we're gonna go to the game. Karen and I,
that was a good spot, man. You were in a
Hoover
great
Dude
spot
was
in front of
rough.
ROTC.
Oh, it was
Like,
great. Yeah.
a million people are walking by. I mean, you could literally joke on. You could do whatever you want in that spot.
Think of how great it was when the original spot that they gave us, which was in the north end zone, like next to the Gator shop. You would walk out right into the stadium, and people would all come there, and it was great. It was a great party.
I have some friends that are kind of nearby that area. They have a tailgate, but yeah, that's a spot right there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go see Joe Calorio. He's right around that in that north end zone.
Okay, Scott. His name Scott Blues.
Yeah, yeah.
No, yep, I know him. Yep.
We're gonna hit them all. I'm gonna go there with no expectations and hit. I want wings. I want Adam's rib. I want all that good
Give
stuff.
me everything. And isn't it? It's just so crazy, you know. And I did break the rules back in college of eating food that people wanted to give me on game days. Come on now. Of all the things to like get in trouble for and be an impermissible benefit. We weren't drinking. We literally people like, hey, eat this. Yeah.
Well,
No,
I can't have cream cheese on
brisket.
my bagel, though. You know,
I don't want to eat the brisket that you just smoked for 18 hours. No, I can't. I can't eat it.
Well, we're going to launch an investigation, so we'll get into that. All right, before we let you go, it is time for us to play Yes, No Way, or Maybe with Patric Young. It is brought to you by our good friends at Big Mills Cheesesteak Street, Dunning done the right way, right next to Adam's Rib Co. And if you go there and say that you watched or listened to this podcast, you get free French fries with your order.
Nice.
And Patric is coming to you on the Big Mills Cheesesteak Zoom line as well. All right, number one, yes, no way, or maybe, Patric. Walter Clayton should have a statue built outside the O-Dome.
Ooh, no way. You can't. He can't have it before any of the 04s. That'd be so disrespectful.
Well,
didn't Joe Kim Noah win Player of the Year?
I think well, he was the MOP, yeah. But my thing was Walter's the first team All-America, which is crazy to think about.
Wow.
But maybe a paver. You know, you can put a paver out there. But I brought that up to Scott Strickland, and he made a good point. He goes, well, what do I do with all the swimmers that have been All-American? And what do I do with all the gymnasts that they play in the same arena? And I go, that's a good point.
That's a good point.
But Walter,
we can retire his jersey. I'm cool with that.
I would be fine with that too. And I'm not a big fan of those as a rule. Neil Walk is the only guy who's had his jersey retired. All right, number two on yes, no way, or maybe. With that, Patric Young, you ever seriously consider playing football at Florida?
No way.
It was just a publicity stunt.
It was just, never considered it. No, it was never a thought. It was like the day I did that, like football, Patric Young versus with football. It was cool. Like I didn't have cleats on, so like we were sliding like crazy anyway. But there still was a kind of like, man, that'd have been cool because I could tell there was so much I would have had to learn. Because I had only played, football in the street with my friends my whole life.
Well, Major Parker played football for a little while. They put him at rush end, but they had to teach him how to put his pads on. I mean, that would have been a different change for you. All right. Finally, on yes, no way, or maybe for Patric Young, number three, Memphis in the Elite Eight against Dayton was the craziest atmosphere you felt that season.
Memphis or playing against Dayton?
Yeah, in the Elite Eight game. That was craziest atmosphere I ever saw.
I don't remember.
You see, you zoned out. That was the game where Scotty had to calm everybody down. He stopped the play and said, calm down, everybody. I remember games differently than you do.
Yeah, you do. I remember we won. I don't think we were ever really tested. Was that Anthony Grant?
No, it was Sean Miller.
Sean Miller, okay.
One of the Millers, yeah. But the fans, their fans.
Poor Coach Grant. He's never beaten Coach Donovan.
I feel bad for Anthony because remember that he had that undefeated team up at Dayton.
Oh yeah,
man. And that was the year of COVID, and
he had a shot, man.
He had
They
a
had a
chance.
shot.
Well, he's also got a shot you do, and we will appreciate you as we always do. Let us know when your tournament gets settled where you're going to be, and then we'll make sure we get the word out both on the radio and on the podcast to let everybody know how they can sign up for it, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Patrick, love you, buddy. You know
You
that.
too.
We'll be back with more of another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios right after this break.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. I know Joe will be out there with his tent. Usually it's right there on the corner. I got to go by and see it. It's usually right in the corner of University and Gail Lemeron, but I don't know. It looked like they'd moved some stuff around over there. But going to go see him on Saturday, and always great to see him. I'm just going to kind of go around to different tailgates, see what I can do, see how much trouble I can cause. Mainly, I'm going to get a bunch of chicken wings, is what I'm hoping for. That's my goal. My goal is to get chicken wings and somebody to have either chili or jambalaya. That's my goal. That's all I'm asking for. All right. Let us move along to our third segment, which is always where we have the most fun. We'll start off with our Hesser and Kipkey three things. Of course, Hesser and Kipkey, attorneys at law, 352-339-9920, the number to call, or reach them at www.hklawfl.com. Hesser and Kipkey for all your workers' compensation and family law needs. They are the place to go. All right, number one on our Hesser and Kipkey three things. Danny Hurley, in an interview, was on one of the podcasts. I can't remember which one, to be honest with you. But anyway, he was doing an interview, and he was talking about this, but he was saying that he was thinking about joining Fox as a commentator last year and getting out of coaching. He was burned out. And now anybody who saw Danny Hurley last year goes, yeah, how'd that work out for you? Because you're clearly a maniac, and we know what happened after the Florida game, and him screaming that the refs cheated him and stuff. So basically, is what he said. But it's interesting that this is in his autobiography too, how he talked about how he had to. He talked to him, at least to Fox, and said, hey, I may be ready to do what Jay Wright did. Now, I didn't even realize this because I was reading the story about this. And Jay Wright stepped down from doing TV work and to spend more time with his family, which I don't know what's going on there, but he just wanted to get away. And also he's got a job at Villanova, kind of one of those ceremonial jobs. But I don't know why. I loved him on there. He was very good on there, but he stepped away from it. There's must be something more to the story. Anyway, let us move along to number two on our Hesser and Kipkey three things, and that is our that the big story that came out yesterday, and it made my decision very easy for me because I've had the NFL red zone before, especially when I was playing fantasy football. The red zone is what you want because you want to keep track of them. And that's when you get too obsessed with it, and it just. But I mean, there's millions of you out there that are. I'm not doing fantasy this year. I didn't do it last year, but my daughter gave me red zone for Christmas. My youngest daughter, Kelsey. And so I had it for 1 year. Anyway, I've had it for a couple of years when I bought it. Anyway, the Red Zone announced that they're going to have ads now. So the beauty of it was you never stopped watching football. And you had a hard time getting up and going to the bathroom and going to get a soda or whatever, or a chicken wing out of the refrigerator, because there's no advertising. There was always action going on. It was great. I loved it. I couldn't watch it all the time. Sometimes I just wanted to watch a game, But now they're going to put ads on it. No soup for me, man. I'd have no interest in watching that with ads. So the red zone for me is out. Now, a lot of people are mad about it, and they're probably going to, but fantasy guys are going to still buy into it. A lot of people. Now, I will say Jeff, who's into like 9 fantasy leagues, I was asking him about it yesterday. He said he's never watched it. And I go, okay, well, you're smart. You can get obsessed. You can get kind of caught up in it. But anyway, and finally, number 3 on Hesser and Kipke's 3 things, and I give Ken Hesser an assist on this because he texted me this story today. It was Charles Barkley was on a show, another podcast show, and he was talking about the toughest playing against Phi Slamma Jamma, and he also brought up two of the toughest guys he ever played against, and he brought up Ronnie Williams and Darrell Gresham. Now, for those of you who don't know, those are former Florida players, and Florida-Auburn was a big game back in those days. And Ronnie Williams was very similar to Charles Barkley in size. Ronnie Williams was like a 6'4" post player. I used to call him the burrowing animal because he would go into a pile of people and somehow he would come up with the ball and it would go in the basket. I mean, the guy put up incredible numbers. I mean, the team wasn't very good back then, but really good player. And Darrell Gresham, though, I was surprised to hear his name, but he was very long and was a good defender. So, hey, 2 Gators from the olden days, back before Florida was a basketball school. Think about that. Florida had how many SEC championships when Ronnie Williams was here? And again, Ronnie Williams was playing with Vernon Delancey, Tim Strawbridge. These were not exactly first-round draft picks, okay? Although still my favorite sign of all time, the Vernon Delancey had a big game. And he had 38, I think it was, against Alabama. And the next week, the sign for one of the students had, "You can't stop our VD." That was great. All right. So Ronnie Williams, Darrell Gresham with a little shout out. That's cool. All right. That is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Appreciate Hesser and Kipke. Appreciate Ken because he's always sending me good stuff, man. It's always good tidbits. All right. Let us get to our BMI TeleMed Smart Move of the Week. Of course, BMI TeleMed, achieve and maintain 727-383-1677. We mentioned last week or earlier this week that over 500 pounds have been lost by people who have gone to BMI TeleMed and gotten their 20% off, by the way, and have lost weight. Like I said, it worked for me. It'll work for you. It just makes you feel full. That's the only thing. Makes you feel full when you're maybe not full, so you don't eat. And it's not. I know that there's like people think it's this magic thing, like steroids. If you're going to shoot steroids and then you will get strong. No, you still got to lift weight after you shoot the steroids. It's just your recovery time's better. It's kind of, and again, I'm not comparing BMI TeleMed to steroids, but it's the same thing. We used to take a little shot, feel full later in the day when you're eating, and you don't eat more. That's all. It's very simple. Appreciate Charlie over there and all the people that do a great job at BMI TeleMed. The smart move of the week was the NBA, believe it or not. The NBA didn't announce this, but it's been scooped by ESPN that they're going to likely, I think it is likely, their All-Star game will be made up of 3 teams, 2 from the USA, 1 from the world, which reminds me of the Norm Macdonald joke about Germany. You know who they took on? The world. Anyway, and that makes sense. There are 8 players on a team. I might watch that. I will say I might watch that. The regular All-Star game you would have to be like Clockwork Orange and pry my eyes open for me to watch it. It's boring. There's nothing interesting about it. And I don't even care if there are Gators in it, to be honest with you. Just because it's just not fun. But this is a smart move of the week. And it feels like it's getting a lot of, like the players are behind this. The NBA, what is it? I don't even know what their initials are. The Player Association is behind it. So anyway, that is our BMI TeleMed Smart Move of the Week. The NBA changing its All-Star game to make it watchable. Let us move along to our Gator of the Week, brought to you, of course, by Adams Rib Co. They do the best job in the world making ribs, and boy, are they going to be busy Saturday. That's what the other thing I got to do. I got to find somebody who's got Adams. I bet you Joe might have Adams. Oh, man, that could be good. Get some Adams, get some wings. Oh, it's going to be a great time. Saturday's going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be a little steamy, though. All right, so our Gator of the Week is Ella Vogel. Ella Vogel is, of course, a Florida volleyball player. The words weren't coming out of my mouth there. She had 5 aces and 14 digs in Florida's win on Wednesday over UCF. And she's a redshirt freshman. So I was trying to think, I don't remember that name, but she is a redshirt freshman. So we were talking about this the other day. Even though they got some older players, they also, and of course, lost Kennedy Martin, but they've got a lot of really young players, and they're doing a good job. So off to a good start this year, and ranked number, I think, 12 or 13 in the country. So Ella Vogel is our Adams Rib Co. Gator of the Week. Let us move along to our Leonardo's at Millhopper quick pick. A lot of you got in last week, man. You guys, most of you did pretty good. Some of you missed, but hey, we're at the point where we're about ready to make a poll. We'll probably do that next week. I think we're ready to go ahead and do that, and we'll pull a $25 winner at Leonardo's. You just go to Leonardo's with your gift card, and you can eat. You can get a Duels. The Duels is great, man. Chicken parm sub, it's beautiful. Well, it's more of a sandwich, but it's sub-y. You know what I mean? All right. So we're going to give you a game that I think is an under-the-radar good game. And believe me, all the games are under the radar this week. I don't know if a game I guess Michigan-Oklahoma is the one game people are talking about. The SEC opener a little bit. Iowa State, it's not doing much for me. But Virginia Tech Vandy, that's an interesting game to me. Virginia Tech is, we watched that game last week. They could have won that game. They just didn't have any offense. Their quarterback is hard to watch. But they were right in the game until that punt return, obviously, against South Carolina. And Vandy, of course, opened with a win. This is an important game for Vanderbilt. And be interesting to see how they match up. Virginia Tech is a 1-point favorite. That's why I'm giving you this game. This is just pick the winner, basically. And if you tie, if Virginia Tech wins by 1 point, everybody qualifies. How about that? But that is our Leonardo's at Millhopper quick pick. Virginia Tech -1 against Vanderbilt. Let's move. And speaking of picks, let's move along to our MyBookie.ag segment, which we love doing. MyBookie is a place to go for all your gambling needs, whether you want to be on do a casino thing or horses or bet on games, NFL games. I'm sure there's a lot of people betting on the NFL tonight. A lot of people betting on college this weekend. Maybe you want to take Florida -18. I'd stay away from that one, okay? But if you go to mybookie.ag and you put in the promo code Dooley, you get 10% off your order there. And I'm pretty sure they're still running this but you get whatever you wager up to $500, you get that money. It doesn't go away if you lose the bet, but if you win, you collect it. But you get to make other bets on it. Anyway, I think you understand what I'm saying. But it's a great deal. Go on there and do it. How bad was my pick last week of North Carolina, by the way? That was my pick of the week. That didn't work out for me, did it? No, it did not. So maybe you go opposite whatever I say, and that may you'll be successful. So in this case, I am taking Ole Miss giving 10 at Kentucky. It's a lot of points to be given on the road. Kentucky beat them last year. They know that. I don't think Kentucky's any good. I mean, Toledo was right in the game with them. We'll see. I'm looking for a double-digit underdog to bet on in this case, and that's what I'm going with. Ole Miss minus 10 at Kentucky is a MyBookie.ag. And don't forget to use a promo code Dooley with when you log in and become a member. All right, let us get to our this, that, and the other. It is time for that. This, that, and the other. We always love doing that, and we appreciate Coach Spurrier for saying this, that, and the other so many times that can't help it but have a this, that, and the other segment. This, that, and the other, of course, is brought to you by Notary Joe Newton over there at Notary Joe's, 863-990-4884. The number to call, mobile notary. Come right to your house. If you go, hey, I need a notary. We just call Notary Joe. He'll come right here and do it for us. All right. It is brought to you by Darr Schackow Insurance. We appreciate our friends at Darr Schackow Insurance for all your home, auto, commercial, and life needs. And by the Ballyhoo Grille. I still think the best wings in town. Maybe I'll get some Ballyhoo wings and take them to the tailgate. I may do that. That's not a bad idea. But obviously they got all kinds of great food there. Steak, and a lot of people love the flatbreads there as well. Ballyhoo Grill. We appreciate them. We appreciate all of our great sponsors. All right, the this, that, and the other goes this way. The this was, somebody posted this, and they looked it up all, and they were saying the prices for a hot dog at an NFL game. Now, what would you think would be the highest price? And where do you think it would be? Well, if you said Buffalo, you would be correct. Why Buffalo? I don't know. Maybe they're incredible hot dogs. Maybe they're this big, you know. Maybe they have all kinds of cheese and stuff on them. But they are the most expensive there. They're $11 and I think 48 cents. The most expensive in the NFL. That's the this. The that is it's $11.25. I don't want to overcharge you for that. The that is that the average price for the hot dog in the NFL is $7, which feels kind of reasonable. Now, if you go and your kids are saying, "Hey, Dad, can you get us a couple hot dogs?" Let me go. I don't know. I don't have change for a 50. I don't know if I can get them. But $7, you know, that doesn't seem too bad. And the other is that the Falcons, which I've touted this before, and I'll say it again, smart move. And I don't know why other people don't follow it. They charge very low on their concessions, because then you'll get more of them. And guess what? You're going to get other things. You're going to get the beers that are a little pricey. But you know how much the hot dogs still are at the Falcons game? $2. $2. I think when I was selling them, they were 50 cents. At Florida Field in 1965, they were 50 cents. So they've only raised the price a little bit from that. You know, in my story, I would sell one box, leave two, and eat the two while I'm watching the game. It was great. I had a great scam going. Anyway, that is this, that, and the other. Brought to you by Darr Schackow, by Ballyhoo, and by Notary Joe. Let's move along to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week. And our Sponge of the Week is Caesar salad. It's Lou Holtz, because he somehow sponges up attention even when nobody even knows that he's doing anything. But he was on one of these podcasts. Again, this is the world we live in. Everybody's got a podcast. Hopefully you guys stay with mine, but you can listen to all the other ones too. Anyway, he was on a podcast and he brought up Rip and Ryan Day again. ripping Ohio State. I don't think they're that good. They just beat Texas, the number one team in the country. They beat them 14-7, and the offense that only did what they needed them to do, and that's all they had to have them do. And they just demolished Arch Manning. But he's complaining. He's, oh, they aren't that good. And I don't know what the problem is. Everybody thinks Ryan Gate's a great coach. He's great at getting money and getting players. That's what he's good at. Anyway, he's soaking up attention even when nobody knew he had an outlet for it. That is Lou Holtz. He is our Gallo Car Wash sponge of the week. And I don't mean that in a good way. All right, let's talk about the Gainesville Quarterback Club, where I had multiple people come up to me after Alex Brown spoke Tuesday night, telling me that was the best speaker we've ever had. Now, we've had some great speakers, and it was in the argument. I will say that. We get all the greats, and this year we got Kevin Carter coming. He's going to be unbelievable, and Scott Strickland is speaking this week, so that'll be really interesting now that he's gotten this extension. And he'll talk about, I'm sure, what they're going to actually do with the stadium and how they're going to do it. Probably get some insight there. So I'm looking forward to that. Alex was amazing. I'm just telling you, he was funny. He was energized. He was so into it. He was calling plays. He was doing everything. He was showing what happened in this game and the Tennessee game. And here's how I knew it. It was one of the best speeches I've ever seen. It was funny. I told Alex afterwards, it was, I'm the guy who kind of got Alex to do this or arranged for him to do it. Because I really knew he'd be good. Boy, did he nail it. He hit it right out of the ballpark. And, of course, he's still a Gator. Gator till the end, and he'll be down here for some games. And again, Scott Strickland this week. And, of course, we got all the greats coming. It's going to be a lot of fun this year, and look forward to it. All right. Gainesville Quarterback Club, the oldest club in the universe, we've decided. I think we're only going to give them the universe, right? Gainesville Quarterback Club. Because we don't know, there could be a Gator club somewhere like Proxima B or somewhere out there. All right, let's move along to our Los Landeros Tequila smooth move of the week. Los Landeros Tequila, go beyond with Los Landeros. It is the tequila that I prefer and the tequila that Urban Meyer prefers. Our smooth move of the weekend is the Florida doing this. And again, I think this is a really good idea. The Two Bits, and I guess you can't call him Mr. Two Bits because Ms. Two Bits, is Monica Benson, who is a Alachua County Teacher of the Year, teaches out of Sidney Lanier, and does a great job. And I think it's so great that they do this once a year, bring a teacher out there to honor them. These teachers don't make enough money, as we all know, have to put up with a lot and have to deal with a lot and have to worry every day that they're going to go to school and not come home because of what's going on around the country. I'm not getting political on this. I'm just saying you have to worry about that. Anyway, I think it's a smooth move to keep doing this, and I think Florida's doing a great thing to honor the Alachua County Teacher of the Year, Monica Benson, and good luck to her. All right, it is time for our Swamp Games of the weekend. And, of course, the Swamp Restaurant, the place to be tomorrow or today, because I'm going to Palatka. It'll be Paul Gardner and Jeff will be out there. Go by and say hello to them. They'd love to see you. Last week, man, we had so many people there. They were coming in for volleyballs and camps and stuff like that, but it was really cool. But I'm only going to give you a few games because there are so many games, as you know. I can't give you everything, but I'm just going to give you the highlights for me. And it's tonight. Tonight is the NFL starts, the Eagles and the Cowboys. Go Eagles. I'm not an Eagles fan, but I'm less of a Cowboys fan. And then Friday, you have that game that's on YouTube, and I don't know if people are going to get overly excited about it. Kansas City, LA Chargers. I want to see it. I'm not sure if we have YouTube as an app, but I don't know if we get it. I don't know. I'll find out. If I don't get it, though, it's not the end of the world. Also Friday, you have a college game, so is James Madison at Louisville? Oh, no. I would say if you have a choice, you're watching the NFL game. If you don't, you can probably watch a college game. It is, and if you have two TVs like I do, maybe you can watch them both. It is on at 7 on ESPN2 Friday night. Saturday, the noon game to watch, to me, is Illinois at Duke. I mean, Duke's not a tough place to play, but Illinois is a team that I've had in my top 12 all year because the schedule's so easy. This is their hardest game. I'm not kidding you. This is Illinois' hardest game. Duke, at Duke. So I'm rooting for Duke. Go Dukies. That game is at noon on ESPN. Ole Miss, Kentucky. Should be an interesting game. 3:30 on ABC. Kansas at Missouri is also the 3:30 game on ESPN2, which will be interesting. And then Florida, of course, is playing at USF at 4:15, and that game is on the SEC Network if you're looking to tape it or anything. And then, of course, the game that everybody wants to see, and hopefully I think I'll be home in time to watch it, Michigan and Oklahoma, 7:30 on ABC. It's the highlight, baby. And then, of course, the NFL full schedule, Sunday, Monday night. We'll talk a little bit more about the Monday night game on Monday's show. So that is going to do it. We appreciate all of our great advertisers, all of our great listeners, all of our great watchers, everybody out there. We're all in this together, right? Another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. I am Pat Dooley, and I am deep. I am way back, and I am out of here.